Good morning, students. I hope you all have had a good week of your NTI learning, and hopefully you got to take advantage of the beautiful weather yesterday. It was gorgeous outside. I missed you guys yesterday. I was kind of feeling a little under the weather, but I think I'm back in action. Today with your reading, first of all, I'm very proud of you for being responsible yesterday and keeping up with your schoolwork. So good job to all of you that have been doing that. Today, before we get started, yesterday you completed the game of silence, and one of your questions on number 10 asked you determine the theme of a story. This is super important. We talked about this probably in the fall. But theme is that moral or the message learned in a story. And that's something that you as a reader, you infer, you think about, you feel it, and you find it. The author is not going to come right out and say, hi, the theme of today's story is whatever it may be. It's something that you're going to have to search for based on some text evidence and how you're feeling. So the theme of yesterday's story, there was quite a few different ones that you could have gone with. However, the overall theme that kind of message was trying to portray is that you should appreciate what is important to you. So whatever is important to you, whether that's your friends, your family, a sports team, it may be a special game, you should appreciate that because that is something very special to you, and you should appreciate what is important to you. So for me, my students, my friends, and my family are definitely the most important things in my life, and so it's important for me to make sure that those people know that. So if there are people that are important to you, and that you make sure that you appreciate them and show your appreciation. So today we are looking at, in our lockbook, Native Americans, yesterday and today. And that starts on page 472 and ends on page 475. So in today's story, I believe this is another article-like reading. So let's see. Yes, it's another expository text. It's just like a magazine article, so make sure that you're taking advantage of that. You're going to see text features. On page 473, I already see a map with a key. You're going to see pictures, and you're going to see captions. So if you look at page 474, this is an artist's depiction of the Trail of Tears. It illustrates the difficult journey made by the Cherokee. Cherokee was a tribe of Native Americans. So today you have 10 questions. Let's look at numbers. Actually, go ahead and pause this video, and that way you can read the story online, or you can read it to yourself. You can read it to somebody in your family. And then we are going to pick up and answer questions 1 through 4 together. Okay? All right, so let's look at number 1. It says, according to page 473, what does the map show? So this map on page 473, first of all, where does it show? And that shows the United States of America, okay? And that's the country that we're talking about. However, looking at that key, we can see that it's talking about or showing where Native American tribes relocated in the mid-1800s. So relocated, they had to move. They were forced out of one area and pushed into another area. Number 2 asks, how are the tribes represented on the map? If you look at the key, each tribe is represented using a different shade of color. So, for example, the Cherokee was in yellow. The Seminole was in like an orangey red color. So they're represented by different colors. Number 3, it says, looking at the map on page 473, what tribe lived in the region colored brown? Okay, clearly I misread the color, because the brownish color is the Seminole. Okay. In number 4, the Native Americans' ways of life changed after the Europeans arrived. How did their lives change? So, unfortunately, their lives changed kind of for the worst. They died from many diseases. They didn't have vaccines, and they didn't have all the knowledge that we have today to protect ourselves from diseases. They were forced westward, and they struggled to maintain their own traditions. So a lot of parts about what made them up was kind of taken from them. So it was hard for them to keep up their traditions and what makes them unique. So today you need to finish numbers 5 through 10 independently. When you get to number 10, there is a key on the front that just kind of reminds you of those text features that we've been learning about. So you're going to pick 3 text features that you saw in today's story. Also with reading today, please make sure that your foldable for the week is complete. And you're still working on your handwriting packet and your reading log if you haven't done so already. Okay? Continuing with our math lesson today. Today's math lesson, you should have out your place value packet. Remember, it has the dates May 11th through May 15th. So today is Friday, May 15th. And you are going to complete any of the pages that say day 5. Okay? Which means we're going to be putting it all together. So again, we're talking about factors and multiples. So remember, factors are multiplied together to get a product. So 4 and 5 are factors of 20. Multiples are the product of a given number and another factor multiplied together. So number 1 asks, circle the numbers that are multiples of each given number. So that means that if I built a multiple tower for my 2's, this would take a long time, but if I keep going, I got to 16. 16 is a multiple of 2. Now, a really, really easier way to do this is by using, I can never find my eraser, by doing division. So let's take the number 43. So I have my 43 in the middle of my paper. I'm going to build my division house, and I'm going to put 2 right here. How many times can 2 go into 4? So 2 can go into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract, bring down my 3. Can 2 go into 3? Yes, it can. 1 time. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. That means I have 21, remainder 1. Whenever you get a remainder, it is not a multiple. It has to be just an even number. Not an even number, but just a simple number. There should be nothing left over. So 43 is not a multiple of 2. So we're just going to skip it because it says only circle the numbers that are multiples. So far we should only have 16 circled. So let's look at 97. If I have 97 divided by 2, 2 can go into 9 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. Sister says subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down my 7. 2 can go into 17 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16. When I subtract, I get 1, which gives me a remainder of 1. So 97, unfortunately, is not. Now, I have a little helpful hint. If there is an even number in the ones place, it's divisible by 2, which means it's a multiple of 2. So let's look at 86. There is a 6 in the ones place. Is 6 an even number? It is. So that means that 2 is a multiple of 86. Okay? Numbers 6 through 15 are yes and no questions. Numbers 17 and 18 are your word problems. Let's look at the next page. The next page is multiple choice. There's only 5 word problems. So the one at the top is an example. Okay? So that only leaves you 5 problems to do by yourself. We're going to do number 1 together. It says, in Miss Johnson's class, the students took a survey of their favorite subject. The number of students who voted for math is a multiple of 2 and 3. How many students could have voted for math? That means the numbers 2 and 3 can both go into that number. Okay, so let's look at let's look at A, 15. So it says 2 and 3. Remember my trick I just told you about? If it's divisible by 2, then it has an even number in the ones place. Is 15, is 5 an even number? No. So I'm not even going to waste my time and try 3 because 2 doesn't go in there. Let's look at B, 2 and 3. Okay, so let's think. There is a 6 in the ones place, and 6 is an even number. So I know that 2 can go in there. Does 3 times anything equal 16? Let's think. 3 times 5 is 15, and 3 times 6 is 18. So that doesn't work. Let's look at C, 18. Is 8 an even number? Yes, it is. So I know that 2 can go into 18. But we just counted by 3s, right? And we just said that 6 times 3 is 18. Therefore, 3 is a multiple of 18. So number 1, the answer is C. Okay? So that leaves you 4 problems to finish on that page. Let's look at the last 2 pages. You are going to find factor pairs. So is 3 a factor of 20? You're simply writing yes or no. That means, does 3 times a number equal 20? No. 3 times a number equal 27? Yes. 3 times a number equal 32? Let's try that, because you're going to have somewhere you're going to have to try. So let's just try. If I have 32 divided by 3, 3 can go into 3 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. So that leaves me 0. 2. Can 3 go into 2? No. 0 times 3 is 0. That leaves me a remainder of 2. So 32 is a no. 39. Can 3 go into 3? Yes. Can 3 go into 9? Yes. So it is yes. Let's look at number 4. It wants you to find factor pairs of 35. So it wants you to give 2 numbers that equal 35, and they can be the the reverse operations. So you can do 7 times 5 equals 35, and then you can also reverse it and do 5 times 7 equals 35. Finding your factor pairs. Remember 1 and 35. That's where we build that factor rainbow, okay? So where it actually wants you to list out those factors, you can build your factor rainbows to help you. Let's look at the very last page. The very last page is multiple choice. Let's look at number 1. Which number below is not a factor of 50? So can 2 go into 50? Think about money. 2 quarters make 50 cents. Each quarter is worth 25 cents. So 2 times 25 is 50. So yes. So let's look at B, 4. Let's skip that one for now. Let's look at 5. 5 times what equals 50? 10, and so we already answered C and D. So the one that is not a factor is B4. So go ahead and circle that one. Let's look at number 2. It says, which number below is a multiple of 6? That means, which of those numbers does 6 go into? 6 times 3 equals 18. So not that one. Not 22. 6 times nothing does not equal 31. But 6 times 6 equals 36. So D. Okay, 6 is a multiple of 36. So that is what you're doing on the rest of your math lessons. If you have any questions about today's math lessons or a previous math lesson or yesterday's math lesson, please let me know, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday. Bye.